Hello, this is MovieCore. Welcome to my top 5 mind-opening movies. Never Cry Wolf, directed by Carol Ballard, is based on an autobiography written by Farley Mowat, a Canadian researcher who was sent to the mountains in the 20th century by the government to make the research if the wolf population was responsible for the quick disappearing caribou. This film is about a biologist who travels alone to an extremely remote part of the Yukon. Anybody who doesn't get how science really works need only watch this film to see. Every aspect shows how scientists work and how they must test their ideas and perhaps modify what they think is a correct answer. Charles Martin Smith's constant narration gives a hyponic feel to the simple performance. It doesn't play up the survival aspect, which these movies tend to be. It seems that this is a wonderful, meditative movie of a man in the wilderness. It teaches a few things about wolves and the North. There are many funny moments there. All the mice are staring at Tyler while he's eating his dinner. The menu includes mice with crackers, barbecued mice, mouse sandwiches. The mutual curiosity and mutual respect of man and wolf as portrayed in the film is breathtaking, and the learning that apparently went from wolf to man was really engaging to watch. Never Cry Wolf raises interesting issues about the preservation of wildlife and the necessary role of the wolf in the ecosystem of the North. It is a revelation as to the feeding and social habits and the true value of the wolf. It opens a window into the personality of individual wolves and their family interactions. The story builds slowly to a wistful and sad ending, but without real violence or anything graphic. If you like nature and enjoy documentaries and such, do definitely see it. You will love it. Directed by Sean Penn, Into the Wild is one of the best movies I've ever seen, that portrays the contrast between a materialistic world versus natural.
Now society!
Society, man!
Society!
Society! You know, society!
This film can easily be overlooked, but not forgotten. Into the Wild is a good balance of the emotional wrenching and the thought-provoking. It contains so many themes and poses so many questions about responsibility, about idealism and aloneness. Most of all, it's about beautiful romanticism of youth.
I am an old woman, named after my mother. My old man is another child that's grown old.
You may be surprised to know, but it was actually a true story, which makes it even more interesting. Many young people coming out of college seek something different from the lives their parents led. Without letting his family know where he is, Alex just disappears. In 2 years, he will climb the highest peak of his journey, tramping off into the Alaskan wilderness alone, into the wild, to get away from civilization altogether. Chris McCandless lived a whole remarkable life, and Sean Penn has captured those 2 years for us. I think this movie will serve as an eye-opener for a lot of people. A perfect cast alongside Emily, including Gina Malone, Catherine Keener, Vince Vaughn, Kristen Stewart, and Hal Holbrook all help make Into the Wild an enjoyable watch. It is a unique version into the life of a young man searching for himself in a dangerous environment, who comes to realize that the true meaning of happiness may not be what he first thought. I highly recommend this film as it will stay with you for a long time. If you want a movie from the heart, this is it. If you want a movie with real-life emotions, well, this is it. Director Arthur Penn did a superb job of blending dramatic and comedic elements together in a story that is as thought-provoking as entertaining. This movie was based on a fine book by Thomas Berger and is very faithful to it.
Here's $20.
Oh!
Get gloriously drunk. But first, go across the street to the barber and have yourself a bath and buy some clothes. Then come see me in the saloon.
I recommend Little Big Man to those who is not afraid to learn how America was truly created. Little Big Man is one of the best. Like many other westerns from those ages, it has aged well. Though it's exciting, dramatic, funny and sad at once, no other western tells the story of the white man's disrespect for the original Americans. What was accurate here was the slaughter of Native Americans on lands allocated to them in perpetuity by the government as a part of legally binding treaties. I should say first and foremost, this is a great story. It's educational. It's the story of an amazing man and his encounter with the Cheney. Part satire, part honest look at America's dark and untold history. Little Big Man was filmed in 1970s, and it still looks fresh. The camera, the acting, the script, the music, everything still oozes quality more than 47 years later. The acting by Hoffman and then George in particular is amazing. I think it was Hoffman's third hit film. Hoffman plays a 121-year-old man who narrates his life among the Indians and wars. The best part of this was Chief Dan George as the Cherokee Chief. He is superb as he plays his character with a perfect blend of sly humor and enough seriousness. This movie makes one of the strongest statements I've ever seen about the treatment of the Native Americans. The humor, tragedy and lush characters will stay with you long after you see this movie. Little Big Man represents the highest point in Arthur Penn's career. This film was made soon after his masterpiece Bonnie and Clyde and stands right beside it as one of the most significant achievements, not only of Penn's work but also of the world cinema in general. Bonnie and Clyde and Little Big Man remain as the two fine nobles for which Arthur Penn will always be remembered. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Watch it and enjoy it. Directed by Louis Mandoki, Message in a Bottle is about a man and a woman who believe in great true love. The man believes it's behind him, the woman hopes it's ahead of her. The movie starts out with Teresa Osborne, divorced and the mother of a 12-year-old son. Teresa finds a note, washed ashore in a bottle, thrown to the waves and to fate. She picks it up during a seaside vacation from her job as a Boston newspaper columnist. Inside is a letter that opens with,
Dear Catherine, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you in so long. I feel I've been lost. No bearings, no compass. I kept crashing into things, a little crazy, I guess.
The letter is addressed to someone named Catherine and appears to be a heartfelt letter of love and loss. The writer calls the woman his true north, expresses how much she means to him and laments her loss. Teresa is deeply touched, and when she returns home to Chicago, she becomes so smitten with the romantic nature of the author that decides to track him down. The movie has a certain winsome charm because of the personal warmth of the actors. Costner is at his best. He plays his parts with the right mix of charm and melancholy, while Robin Wright Penn gives the most engaging performance of her career. Newman handles his role as Costner's ex-drunk father. It's very good to see all three of them on the screen. Without revealing her profession, she strikes up a friendship with him. As a deep and mutual attraction blossoms, Garrett struggles to make peace with his past, while Teresa battles her own demons of divorce and loneliness. The dialogues between the characters are breathtaking. The poses are so intense, it feels so real, as if this is not a film, but indeed the scene of life where emotions are mixed and the result is always unpredictable. The film describes one of the most sensible love stories ever to be told. It combines the struggle between the past and the present of a man that wants to punish himself for the misfortune he had with his lost wife. With no hope helped by his father, Garrett agrees to take a chance with a possible new love.
Not with your plane tickets sitting on the seat here. Good dog.
Message in a Bottle is about acceptance, about opening your heart after a terrible loss, about forgiveness and appreciation of love and destiny. The tone of the film is exceedingly melancholy, and the pacing is slow and deliberate. Still, it's a touching story with many redeeming qualities, as Teresa says at the end of the film.
Loss has been a part of my journey, but it has also shown me what is precious.
Directed by Joe Carnahan, The Grey is a fantastic movie about survival when there is no chance of doing so. In fact, the film speaks about many things. It speaks about man versus nature, about being male. The Grey is not about wolves, it's about people. Wolves and the snowy environment are just the background. Otway is a broken man at the start of the movie, as he himself says in his first few lines. He works at the end of the world, doing a dirty job protecting the workers from wolves. Upon the completion of the job, the team in Otway embark on a plane, headed for home during a blizzard. The plane cannot withstand the weather and it crashes into the middle of nowhere. The Grey does a magnificent job in the atmosphere. You really feel cold and isolated with the group. The whole scope of the film with its images is beautiful and terrifying at the same time. One of those moments when you'd rather be looking at it from a safe place. The darkness surrounding the men, the sounds of trees breaking or wolves howling, it all creates a frightening. Nature here is as much a killer of these men as the wolves. The characters and dialogues are written good and acting is believable. The wolves are great and the overall ambience is just terrific. One reason why this film has been so heavily criticized is due to its unrealistic nature. With that statement, you cannot really disagree. Everyone is informed about what wolves can or cannot do in the wild. They aren't mean creatures, they are just creatures. But its unrealistic nature doesn't make it anything less of a good film. Guys, this is a Hollywood movie. Let me repeat, a movie. All this analysis on how much a wolf weighs and how their behavior is incorrectly depicted. Please, stick to National Geographic or Discovery Channel programs and stay away from fiction. I like this film, and beside the background music, I also enjoyed the poem.
Once more into the fray, to the last good fight I'll ever know. Live and die on this day.
Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about all these 5 movies by commenting or giving your thumbs up. Subscribe and don't miss my